Hello, hello. I gotta do the announcement. Alright, the announcement is up. I need to stop muting with my headset and mute with Discord so it doesn't make that weird sound. Hey, what's up, Lurkin? I got my chili and crackers. Oh, shut up, Lurkin. That's a terrible dad joke. Hey, happy to have you here, Over. And welcome, how do I pronounce your name? I'm just gonna call you Bane. What would be the next stage of concepts here, Ember? Wouldn't that be the illustration? Or do you have something else in mind? Hey, awesome. Are we gonna also be setting up thumbnails for the illustration beforehand, or we just diving right in? Gotcha, gotcha. That's great. Can't wait to see that. That would be awesome. We can have a part 5 then, I'm sure. I feel like we're gonna have a Majunga in our illustration, which is gonna be super cool because Nobody's seen our Majunga's design yet. I'll start actually planning out the different species that should be included in the illustration, and I'll see what you think. Yeah, I'll share the design. We got a little concept done by one of our community members. Not necessarily a community idea, but I commissioned one of our community members, that is, just to clear it up. If any of you are familiar with Falcon in the server, then he is the dude. Discord mobile has been feeling so slow lately. Or my phone just sucks because I haven't bothered to upgrade for years. Alright, got the Majunga design in the 2D forum. If you want to share it, then feel free to. It's up to you. It's got some Armored chest scales. Gotcha, yeah, we can save it for the illustration. That'll be more fun. We're definitely considering the wizard hat in some way in the future. I feel like it's become a little bit part of its character now. And remember, don't forget to leave a like on the stream. Hey, welcome back, though. Doing pretty well, personally. Just enjoying some chili from Wendy's with some saltine crackers. What about you, Doe? How are you doing? Yeah, returning to the topic of large sauropods, AI large sauropods being in migrations may be a good idea, but again, it's something we'll have to consider further later on. And I'm glad you're doing fine, though. I hope you actually are doing fine, though. Sorry to hear that, man. Hopefully you can regain that progress relatively quick. We don't want to have sauropods become too strong, but also don't want AI sauropods to end up being like free food. It's a little bit difficult to make AI like that not abusable in some way if it's a way to obtain food and whatnot. Depends on how good the AI is, but typically players don't have that issue because players are actually intelligent and aware of their surroundings very, very much. Well, most players, that is. I don't know, I can't tell if you're the intelligent variety. Because you do play the game that starts with B. And you die a lot on that game. I did play the game that starts with B for like maybe an hour before I got bored. Before it became a hassle. At least I didn't die all the time. It's okay, we can mention the island about the Titans here. We just don't mention the B game. Yeah, we should move on to more relevant topics. I'm really liking how this design is coming out. I know I've said that many times before, but I like how the details stick out a lot more, especially like around the legs and arms. Love them. Almost reminds me a little bit of a Cuban crocodile with the body build a little bit. I don't think our Titan will be capable of galloping. You want to maintain that sense of scale. Speaking of, once we had like screen shake and whatnot, every time this thing is moving and you're nearby, you're gonna really feel it. Oh yeah, for sure. There's definitely gonna need to be some base in the steps. I hope players don't gain a false sense of security when they're around this thing though, because if you're being chased or attacked by another player, this thing isn't gonna do anything other than watch. So you're gonna have to still feel uneasy when you're around it, even though it's not the threat. Is this a vaporwave playing in the background, by the way? It's definitely giving me 80s, like 90s vibes. Oh, synthwave. That's what it is. And there's tons of different like genres around that. Yeah, I love synthwave. Synths in general are great. You know, now that you mentioned Vagar lurking, one of our references for like the old look and everything was what was it? The Bronze Fury? I forgot its name. It's from House of the Dragon though. Yeah, Vermithor. Yeah, I can't wait until the next season of House of the Dragon. Yeah, me too. I think the one like minor flaw from House of the Dragon with their dragon designs is the wings don't connect to their hips really. I feel like there's not enough membrane or whatever there. So it looks a little odd. So where their wings start, there should be more wing. You know, think of a bat. I mean, they reference bats, I'm pretty sure, so I don't know why they do that, but Watching House of the Dragon isn't that big of a commitment compared to Game of Thrones, but it's also still releasing seasons. I think next season might be the last season though. I think it's only got like 3 seasons after the next one comes out. Yeah, I would suggest House of the Dragon because you don't necessarily need to have watched Game of Thrones beforehand, as it's pretty much a prequel. It is politics heavy, but you know, it's in a setting where it has nothing to do with like modern politics. It's their own politics. Hey, welcome, Rhodium. Yeah, I mean, Game of Thrones also has politics, I'm pretty sure. But that's kind of what you expect from an adult show, especially one that's about power, like, you know, possessing the throne and having kings and queens, all that fun stuff. The fan service, I mean, Game of Thrones up until like season 8 is really good. It's like the best fantasy show you'll probably find, on top of House of the Dragon, which, you know, same universe. I wish we had more shows like it. But the writing and like the character building, the world building, super solid stuff. Like I think it's unmatched there, and that's what makes it so good outside of the dragons. Because you can watch Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon and not have any dragons on screen and still enjoy it a lot. Yeah, Game of Thrones has an unfortunate ending because of what they did with the story, but it doesn't mean it's not worth watching. I'll just stop watching at like season 6 probably. But if you don't care, then I'd still watch the full thing. All you can hope for is that they somehow like kind of rewrite what happened in season 8 with whatever they decide to pursue with their sequel. Yeah, we need more fantasy movies. I feel like the only other one like franchise that pursues something similar is like Lord of the Rings with the Hobbit, and I think there was another one. I forgot the name. It's a show, but it's not a good show from what I've heard and seen. I think it's Rings of Power. Yeah, How to Train Your Dragon is really good, although it does have a lot of missed potential and questionable stuff the more it's developed. I feel like it strayed a little bit too far from where it started from. Because I really enjoy the original movie and the ideas it presented, but yeah, it feels like they kind of butchered it a little bit. I personally didn't like the live action for How to Train Your Dragon either. I'm like, I very much dislike it. I feel like it's pointless. And if anything, it's just a worse version of the original. I don't really like the whole live action trend for, remaking these cartoon movies and whatnot when they offer nothing new. And if whenever they do offer something new, it's not even an improvement. I feel like the best examples of doing it right are the Sonic movies. The Sonic movies are enjoyable, although I can't really say that I'm a big Sonic fan. They're still enjoyable movies. Same with the Mario movie. Mario movie was also good. Minecraft movie though, oh my god, it is I'm just gonna be real. It was terrible. It was like so terrible that it was a meme. It's the only thing it was good for, just memes. Like I can't believe how hard they fumbled the Minecraft movie. They have so much lore to work off of in the game, and they just like threw all of that away. Like you could have had so much potential, like introducing the different bosses in the game and all just there's so much. But no, they decided to take the Jumanji route, which made no sense at all. I haven't watched the Mulan remake, but I don't really know if it's an improvement. I just know the dragon isn't in it, and that was enough for me to not even bother with it. I actually watched the original Mulan recently. I really miss the old Disney movies that were 2D animated. Is anyone looking forward to the Predator Badlands movie in November? Yeah, if any of you are familiar with the Predator and Alien movies, Predator is getting a new movie in November. The director for the Predator franchise recently has been cooking a lot and offering a lot that is very good for the franchise as well. It's also confirmed that the Alien and Predator franchises are in the same universe. Because there's a synthetic from Wayland Yutani in Predator Badlands. Outside of that, I've been enjoying Alien Earth though. I just watched, I think, episode 5 the other day. There's a new episode of Alien Earth every Tuesday. But I will be watching the new episode of Peacemaker today. I've been enjoying what James Gunn has been offering to the DC franchise or universe. From what I've seen so far, I think James Gunn is a very good director, and I don't really understand the negativity around him. I think he's also planned out so much for the DC. Like, he's giving DC a huge comeback. Oh, I didn't hear that. I went to go search up something. I come back to seeing that. I don't know. Even if James Gunn is a weirdo, as long as he's not like a criminal, I can support what he does as like a creative. Boy, I need to look into that because that is very questionable as a joke. if he made a joke like that and he still got hired like literally anywhere, especially the for DC, I don't know how he managed to do that. Sorry if you hear a dog in the background. We have a dog upstairs and he likes to be loud because he's like part Chihuahua. Unfortunately, the dog we have is not trained, but he's not my dog, so Yeah, kind of an unfortunate situation. I don't know how to train a dog either. I've never owned one. I'm more of a reptile guy. The species of reptile is my favorite. Um, Probably tegus, like Argentine black and white tegus. All right, Rover, it was nice having you. Best of luck with your class. Hope to catch you later. Sorry if I sound a little bit tired right now, guys. I'm just kind of looking into some things. I used to like steaks a lot more, but I feel like steaks don't have very much personality, and I feel like I'd prefer something with more personality that actually kind of seeks out attention. And that's why Tegus kind of caught my interest because they actually seem to enjoy attention and affection. Alright, let me check the chat. Oh wow, I looked away for like maybe 5 minutes and we're on to the illustration now. Or at least something else. Hell yeah. It's gonna be really interesting seeing what kind of shots you pull off, considering how big this thing is. Very good to hear. We got like 12 to 13 people watching, but we got 10 likes. Who's not liking the stream? Come on, guys. Gotta leave your like. If you enjoy what you're seeing, that is. I don't know why I feel sleepy right now. I think I need to drink some more water. Oh no. I don't even want to know lurking. I'm gonna be right back and get some water though. I'll try not to be too long. Alright, I'm back, y'all. Sorry, I lied a little bit. I got occupied with other things. God damn! That looks peak. I don't know why YouTube is moderating the word gotcha. Let me show your messages that were held for review. Sorry about that. I don't know why YouTube does that. Thank you, what did I miss? You do be wallowing in the goop. Is that a kilobator I see in the back? Good to see that included. I really love the perspective here. Such a, like, very impressive display of scale. It's kind of crazy seeing the kilobator's like the size of its toe, pretty much. Not even, probably like its nail or claw. I'm sure you guys will see a 3D model eventually, but it might come down the line, like after the bosses. Well, not after the bosses, but after like maybe one boss. They are, after all, part of the world, and they are, in that case, a priority. Otherwise, we wouldn't have concepts done of them. Especially this early. We want to show you the world we're building here. And if we aren't, you know, making efforts to build the world actually in the game, then there'd be no point in kind of adding them in concept. You might have one on release. I can't really guarantee you because these guys are completely new to the genre, and with that being said, it presents challenges that we're completely unfamiliar with. So we can't guarantee if they'll be on release, but it's something we can strive for, or at least having the Mud Titan on release. But again, it depends on a lot of things, because we want to make sure that gameplay is the focus and the Titans aren't the most important part of the gameplay. They're more important to the world itself. And especially if you want to make these things as good as possible visually, they're going to take quite a bit of time to perfect. And that's also very important considering their size. We have to make sure like it's looking as good as possible, considering you'll be able to see every like small area on it again because of how big it is. Did I miss anything while I was gone, by the way? Any questions or anything? I'm gonna try and read back a little. Lurking, I believe you can, in a way, full screen the stream and have chat open. You have to go into theater mode. So you can hover over default mode, click it, and it'll put you in theater mode. It's a part of the YouTube player next to your settings. You know, I'm just realizing this thing's so big that it could block riverways just by like resting in them. Big props to Ember for the work they're doing right now, though, because I feel like nobody would be able to do what Ember's doing as good as them. And I feel very grateful to have Ember as part of our team and to bring these concepts to life. Super glad to have them as someone that's also sharing the same passion that I have for this genre, or at least this project. There are others on the team, but I feel like Ember displays that the most, at least so far. Not to say that anybody's better than the other. It's just nice to have that passion. Very glad to hear that, Ember. Yeah, see, this is what I mean about the strong passion, because someone claiming to love what they do and hoping to never stop is the kind of level that I'm on when it comes to passion. I am very excited to present as many opportunities as I possibly can to you so that you can never stop. And I'm sure you're only gonna get better and better at this, so there'll be plenty to be busy with long term. I would give you more stuff to work on, but at the same time, I don't want to overwhelm you too much because I mean, we could, have you work on UI. We could have you do more server emojis. There's a lot of stuff. Would give you a lot to stream though. What art of the actual game would you say is the most actively worked on right now? Or what part of the actual game? Um, that's a little difficult because I'm not like watching my programmers do their work. Like I'm not kind of there all the time, and they don't really stream. So it is difficult to say between the artwork and programming. But there's a lot of thought and a lot of discussion and consideration that goes on as well. And that's almost a 24/7 thing. So if I'm not sleeping or if I'm not like playing a game or something like that, I'm pretty much always thinking about the project. and I'm sure there's others in the project that do the same. I'm not sure if there's really a word to describe it, but that'd probably be the most active part of the project. Because that's more of a mental thing. But if you're talking about like physical work, then probably programming. I honestly haven't checked suggestions in quite a bit. Just kind of been focused on what tasks we have at hand so that I don't like overwhelm myself or become distracted. My QA lead may be checking in there and answering questions or responding to suggestions. And so I might get informed that way through him, but I'm sure we'll get to suggestions either way eventually. But they're not being ignored. I think a lot of what I do is less physical and more to do with mental stuff, because as director it's more about decision making and thinking about like what's best for the project, engaging with the community, seeing what you guys want and whatnot, um, just making sure the team's in a good state. I will do some physical work sometimes, like, you know, working on ragdolls or doing some texturing, just small things here and there. But it's mostly to do with like being a visionary and being a leader, I suppose. It's more mentally demanding than it is physically. Oh, welcome, AK. It's good to see you. We are working on the illustration for the Mud Titan, or at least the thumbnails for the illustration. So that it'll give you a good idea of how to set up environments for this guy as well. So yeah, that'll be helpful. Yeah, AK's been here. I'm gonna give you mod because you're a developer anyway. I should have done that the other day. Yeah, AK's been working on the map. He is currently working on getting the design sorted out for the demo area and sorting out the ocean and then moving on to rivers and whatnot. And AK is Akul Kumar. I don't know if I butchered your name. I'm sorry if I did. On the topic of UI, I think it would be a good idea to be able to toggle the whole UI on and off and to be able to bind that to a hotkey. Yeah, that'll likely become a hotkey. I don't know if it'll be a hotkey on release. Again, there's like so many different things that are a part of a game, but we have to gradually um, introduce more content, both large and small. But we'll be listening to you guys for sure, wherever it's helpful. Hey, good to hear. Is a plausible player count per server you think you'd be able to manage upon release? A little bit too early to say, because it really depends on a lot of things that are subject to change. We could say 100, because we could have our server provider be able to do so, but we have to probably have the netcode to also support that, which is more important than having a server provider, because server provider is irrelevant if we don't if we don't have the netcode to support it. Will there be co-op? I do not believe so. Just multiplayer and single player. And for demo, it's more likely that players will be hosting their servers on their own machine. But we'll see if we can have a dedicated server. I don't know. Things are going by pretty quick when it comes to deadlines. So we might introduce a dedicated server later. Because we'll keep the demo up so you guys can, test it. And we'll try to introduce some AI so that even when you don't have players, you have something to interact with, and also so you don't starve. But we want to sort out a dedicated server so we can have a large amount of players on one server for a demo. And that way we can start testing player saves and whatnot, so that we can get a better sense and understanding of what the actual gameplay loop will be like. No, our demo area will be only a quarter of the full map, and then later on we'll make the full map available. And the whole map is 8 by 8 kilometers, which is around the size of what Denyal was for the Isle. So it won't be a massive map. It's not going to be a map that will require 500 players just for you to have decent interaction. It's like the perfect size to run into players relatively often. Now I'm saying that just with the 100 players on the map. I'm sure when we first release, there will be a whole set of issues to resolve, but it's not much of an issue because that's the purpose of a test and a demo. So we'll just take the feedback from it and fix what needs to be fixed, and the game will be better. Simple as that. Sorry, Eddie, your message got auto-modded by YouTube. I'm just gonna see if I can turn that off. I don't know why YouTube's like holding back comments that aren't even inappropriate. Alright, change the setting. Give me a moment to read up. Are we going to control Apex population just so there's not 150 T-Rexes in a server? Well, first of all, Rex is going to be really difficult to grow in the first place, especially since it's primarily solo. And also, if you try to Mega Pack, there's a boss that can be automatically summoned pretty much at your location, which will discourage players from, Mega Packing. Because if they Mega Pack, then they gotta deal with a boss that is far from easy to take down, even for Apexes. And the more of you that die to it, the stronger it essentially becomes. Rex is a cannibal anyway, so I don't see a large population for Rexes. Well, there's always this one thing that pops into my mind when it comes to how we design points of interest long term, and that's providing a point of interest pretty much every square kilometer on the map, which I believe would mean there would be around probably a little bit less than 64 64 points of interest on the map total. At least in the long term. I'm definitely not going to promise you that many points of interest at the beginning. That would be way too difficult. That'd take forever. It would be 64, but you gotta keep in mind there's ocean as well, so it'd probably be a little bit lower than that. As for the situation over there at the Isle with their Rex, it's to be expected for there to be an overpopulation with their Rex because one, their Rex is not balanced, and two, they release Rex way too early, so it's like the only thing that most people are playing anyway. It's not that hard to grow. And it's also not cannibalistic either. Not yet, at least, for their game. And yes, Eddie, we are only streaming on YouTube because Twitch is a problematic platform. And we don't stream on Discord because we want to bring our streams to our YouTube audience as well. So our Discord and YouTube audience can find us here. Oh, El Slizzo, or how you pronounce your name, you're not going to farm the Revenant. Don't underestimate how strong it is. Because even if it dies, it still gets back up. And I heavily doubt that it would die without taking down one of your friends with it. Which, of course, by then, it would have more help. So it probably wouldn't even die in the first place. Oh, is that Stowen I see? Welcome. The Mud Titan serves as a living landmark or point of interest. It's not a boss. They can't be killed. Not by players, at least. They provide benefits to their environment, but you shouldn't bother them, or you might be killed by it. At least for the Mud Titan. Other Titans are not very reactive to being bothered. I believe it's planned for like the Forest Titan, for example. If you do attack it, it'll shake off anything that's climbing it, but it won't really attack anybody. But that may change. How will the mega packing boss affect giant herbivore herds? Will there be a cap for these type of herds, or will it just be depending on the carnivore players? That is a good question. It will consider different like circumstances, so it only appears during specific scenarios. It's only if your specific species is overpacking. And then there's also consideration of what kind of species are in that area. Again, it's going to be complex. It's definitely not going to be a simple determination, or else that would be abused. Honestly, you probably would get trampled by a Titan, but it would move slow enough for you to avoid it. So unless you're trying to get trampled, I don't think you would. It probably will be an achievement, honestly. Again, there's so much to do, but ah man, there's if I had to like remember every idea that you guys present that I like, it's just impossible. And if I had to note it down, it would quickly become a mess. It's so hard to organize things sometimes when there's so much. No, the Mud Titan does not eat mud. Mainly stays in mud to kind of just chill. But he will eat a player if, again, it's bothered. And he does move between mud pools on the map. So you can either find him moving between the mud pools and leaving trails of mud behind him, in which you can still wallow in, or you can find him at a mud pool and just kind of chill with him. I don't know if I'd describe it as him making mud, and more like he's just so massive that the mud that he was wallowing in leaves trails. He is not made of mud. And the Mud Titan might be a hot spot, at least initially, but there are going to be other Titans in the game. So your interest will be, spread out. And then there will also be your usual point of interest or structures. He's soft in some areas, and in other areas, not so much. I don't even know if I describe it as soft. It's more like just not hardened. I guess you can imagine a more leathery, kind of smooth feel. He's not I know the same texture throughout his entire body. Definitely a variety of texture. No, all of our Titans are much larger than any creature that would be in our roster. And the Mud Titan's not our largest Titan either. But there's only one Titan that's significantly larger than the others. But there's a lot of things we can do for the Mud Titan, and a lot of ways we can expand what he does. Because right now, his concept and behaviors are rather simple, but sometimes that's all you kind of need for a creature that is primarily a spectacle, especially when it's so large. No, there's more than one Titan. Or there will be more than one Titan. Will Titans be present on the realism map? No, they will not. Not planned, at least. The realism map will be quite barren, which I've said this before, but even though we plan to offer a realism map, I feel like players will be missing out on a lot of enjoyable aspects of the gameplay and world by playing on realism. Because what we're doing makes a realism map look very bare and just empty. The Titans might cross paths on the map. As for what that would mean, too early to say. I mean, if you take away the sci-fi aspects, you're also missing the points of interest that would be sci-fi based as well, such as the structures. And just the best way I could explain it is just think of what you would be, what you would have in comparison. So you would just have a bunch of biomes and the usual nature, and that's kind of it. And sure, it's a natural environment, but you're kind of lacking any extra creativity outside of that. And that's kind of why we straved away from realism, is because it doesn't offer that creativity. But even with our sci-fi, we try to still keep it grounded in a way that, like, even though we're adding a massive Titan, it's important that we remain the sense of scale that it offers as if it is real. I feel like if you're looking for a grounded and realistic setting, then this is just my opinion, but you're better off watching a documentary instead of looking for a game. I'm really loving this current thumbnail you have going on. Seems like the Majungas have a little bit more detail. I want to also remind everybody that these are thumbnails, so just imagine what it may look like once we go into detail. Because if you remember the thumbnails we had for the other artwork that Ember did for Fenny's, then you'll see the difference in detail from the thumbnail to the final illustration. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, Stone, you can still, of course, pursue your realism profiles. There's nothing we could really do about that, even if we wanted to. But you're free to do that. It's no problem. That's kind of the purpose of community servers, is so that they can create their own experiences. Would any boss match sauropods or titans in size? I think I answered this already, but no sauropods would match the titans in size. As for yeah, as for the bosses, I don't think they didn't match the titans in size either. It'd be impossible to kill them. The bosses would probably at most be like a little bit larger than the apexes. Maybe like 25% larger. Unless it's a sauropod boss, then, you know, we can start talking about, you know, quite a bit larger. I do think the scale here looks a little large because these are Majungas, which are on the lower end of mid tiers. Whereas if this was a Rex, the Mud Titan wouldn't look as large, but it's still massive. Our Arjun, not Arjun, our sauropod boss currently is actually planned to be able to channel lightning through its neck. You know, a speculative evolution documentary would be really cool for Primeval Horizon. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I'm sure you'll get something like that when we start diving into more cinematics and whatnot. It'll be very fun. It's okay, Quirt. Just take your time. No rush. Ember, I think we need to put the wizard hat on one of these guys. Oh yeah, I can send you a side view of the Achilles model. Hold on. It won't be a perfect side view, but it'll be a... It should be good enough. You just let me know. One moment. Alright, I sent it in the server. Hey, there we go. Feel free to make a Kilobator look a little bit more feathered or maybe a little bit more stylistic with its plumage. I wouldn't mind. I feel like that's what we're gonna pursue down the line anyway. I know its plumage is quite tame at the moment. Oh, good night, Dodo boy. I think I was a little bit late, but good night, dude. It was nice having you. What if the boss will meet the Titan? It won't bother the Titan. It will, yeah, it won't bother with the Titan because it's not that stupid. They'll pretty much ignore each other because the size difference is so large. It's just there's no point. Who knows? We'll probably offer like a small interaction for something specific, but we'll see. Nothing that will be abusive though. You gotta be careful with that. Can you be able to play as any sci-fi creatures, like unlocked through defeating bosses or something? We do have some speculative evolution creatures planned, but they're secret. As for playables. Oh, okay, dude. It was nice having you, Stolen. Hopefully we can catch you another time. Best of luck. Well, to be fair, if the Titans can be killed by dinosaurs, then why would the... I mean, not the Titans. If the bosses can be killed by dinosaurs, then why would the Titans bother? If anything, I mean, there is something connected to the bosses that may pose more of a threat to the Titans, but I won't spoil that. Because the bosses do have a little bit of an explanation as to why they're different, why the Titans are more natural. Because I don't think anybody's questioned where the bosses came from. But now you can question it now that I put it in your head. When is Godzilla collab? Honestly, a Godzilla collab would probably be possible, but I don't know if I'd be very interested in it. Probably wouldn't be a great collab long term. And if that were to happen, I'd want to use the 2014 Godzilla, and if they didn't let us, then I wouldn't bother. Although, that would bring a large audience to the game that shares very similar interests. I don't know. I'm not going to think too much about it right now. I don't know if the Titan would be the size of a mountain. That might be a little bit overestimating it. It's really big, but mountain sized? I don't know. I feel like that'd be more like Jormungandr from God of War, which is incredibly large, like actual mountain size. Yeah, you could say hill size. Like if it were possible, I could see you guys like climbing up its arm. I don't think collabs will necessarily be expensive. Um, at least in the long term, because I'm not sure if you're paying very much upfront to use that license, at least for a game, but you definitely make your money back from that license anyway. But it's, I feel like it's likely that whenever um, games do collabs with these large IPs, they do like a revenue share where the sales that are made, a portion goes to the license holder. And that's something that Dead by Daylight, I believe, at least does, and that's why they put real currency for licensed characters. Like you have to spend real money to buy a licensed character because that currency or that revenue has to partly go to, you know, the owners of that license. I could honestly see some cryo Drakens resting on this dude. Maybe Ember can add that. I don't. That's up to her. Because you may not be able to necessarily scale it. I can see somebody that's like a flyer still resting on top if they land on him. Yeah, I mean, the Mud Titan would probably have all sorts of branches and stuff on it anyway, so I don't think having some flyers resting on it temporarily would bother it. Make mud bugs and the Titan that pterosaurs can eat. That seems like a decent idea, going like off the whole parasites idea people have been mentioning for like the past couple days, I believe. But we only have one one flyer officially confirmed right now, which is Cryo Draken, and it's as Darkid rather than a pterosaur. At least I don't think it's a. I don't think it's a pterosaur. Pretty sure as Darkid is different. Because a lot of pterosaurs are just too small to be bothered with as playables. It's just a worse version of Cryo Draken. Because if you want something that small, where you're essentially just playing spectator mode, then you may as well just play as a smaller Cryo Draken. Oh, okay. So it is a pterosaur. I thought it might have been a little separate. Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Every time I tell myself that I'm gonna be in here for a little bit, I end up staying in here the entire time because, like, I'm just captivated by the progress of the artwork. And also just talking to you guys. Oh yeah, cryos, you don't... Our stamina system should allow you to fly pretty much as you want. You mainly gotta worry about, like, getting fractured, preventing you from flying. But Cryo Draken is still good on the ground. So you can either be flying around or you can be on the ground. It's kind of up to you. We're not gonna make you really bad at either one. It's not the most agile in the air, but you know, you can fly for a while and you're still pretty good on the ground. See, if Dimorphodon can be its own thing, then I think I was very reasonable for believing that As Dark it was its own thing. Oh, what's up, V Raptor? How long have you been in here? Are you new? You just joined? Yeah, fair enough. Ember, if you don't mind, can you give like a quick overview of the other thumbnails you've done so far for anybody new that's joined? All right, I think that should be good. Thank you. Thank you, V Raptor. Much appreciated, dude. You know, giving it a Godzilla vibe wasn't intentional, but we hope that it at least makes it stand out from a design perspective. I really do love the design and the whole like catfish kind of look with the face. You still got the resemblance of that newt body and then the large spines on the back, the sail. And then the large muscular limbs, although short. Any Mega Raptor confirmed? No, there's not a Mega Raptor planned for the roster, but we do have a Mega Raptor boss. And this thing's gonna be blocking out the sun. Is that a river or a stream? Because if that's a river, then I think that's a little bit too big. Oh, okay. Man, it's gonna be hard choosing between these thumbnails. Nah, it's not a lake. It's a mud pool. Although it may look like a lake right now. Will there be something like a flying titan? Currently there is no flying titan planned. Actually, I lied. There is a possibility, but it's not high priority. It's more like a dev creature instead of a titan. Talking about the flying titan idea, by the way, not the mud titan. The mud titan is not going to be dev playable. Well, I'm not going to say it's not going to be, but it's not planned to be. How do you plan on revealing the lore / story to players in game? Well, we plan on revealing it through the environment and also just how the game progresses with development. So you'll see things change, and also we'll try and tell it through cinematics and whatnot on YouTube. So it'll be a good idea to explore, your environment. With regarding funding, I think we're doing all right at the moment. We're of course always trying to do better with funding, at least like obtaining funding. But that's also why we're trying to show more of the world and whatnot, so that we can show people what they're supporting and the concept that we're going for. We want to prove that we have a vision planned, and we want to display that vision without putting like an insane amount of resources into achieving that vision just yet. So that we're doing concepts and whatnot. So you can think of it almost like a proof of concept, but we're trying to provide a damn good proof of concept. And at the same time, we're still working on the game. And as for what lore are you allowed to know right now, I can't just straight up tell you. You'll just have to watch our latest videos and try to put things together and theorize. You know, I should be putting this in theater mode myself. I don't know why I haven't done that. Oh wait, I did have it in theater mode. Well, you can pop out the chat while you're full screen. How do you do that? Oh wait, I missed a question. After all the bosses and speculative evolutions, what's the last thing that happens to your dino? Old age? Do you keep getting strength? Neither really. You can achieve elder, and once you're a full-grown elder, and you know, if we're talking about like your maximum potential for your creature, so you can reach full elder, and you can obtain your maximum size through having a really good diet throughout your lifespan, and also just experimenting with all sorts of different perks and whatnot that you unlock through boss battles and also through your growth. There'll be a currency in the game so that you can unlock perks and whatnot, and that currency will be unlocked through growth and all sorts of accomplishments. So there's a possibility of also, you know, upgrading your perks later. And of course, the perks will be not related to combat and more so enhancing your playstyle. So you'll be able to play with different playstyles. For example, being able to move faster in mud. And the special perks you get from bosses will unlock kind of like new abilities. So a Kilobator, even as an adult, will be able to glide. Said open the live chat and then go full screen. I mean, I have it open. Maybe that's a... Oh wait, pop out chat. Maybe that works. Okay, that does not work. I don't think it works on desktop. Will be in game / YouTube something like VHS or about big lore moment. kind of both. I'm not quite understanding the question, but I think both. So in theater, click the three dots next to your XP. You can select pop out chat. It'll be its own window. Well, yeah, but you can't full screen then. Because it goes into the background, I think. Good night, Aiko. Sleep well, dude. No problem, Eddie. You have a good day. You know, I wish I had a second monitor so I can just pop out chat and just put it on a second monitor instead. And then I could just full screen. Alright guys, I'll be right back. Yeah, you'll have stuff like that, Court. And I agree, the illustrations are super cool. It's definitely going to be really hard picking one. I think I'm going to have to leave it up to the community. I do think 2 and 3 show off the most, so I'm sure it'll be the most challenging between those two. Sounds good, Ember. When you're done, send them my way and we'll do a vote with the community. We should probably number them before you send them my way, though. Also, am I don't think the back legs are exactly visible. I don't know if they're just out of view or buried in the mud, but are they supposed to be almost invisible? Because I know they had quite a bit of texture. I don't know, maybe you just like skipped over that because it's a thumbnail, but it's hard to tell if it has back legs in the thumbnail. Gotcha. Sounds good. Yeah, I know it's going to be difficult to choose between 2 and 3. However, just know that this won't be the last time you see the Mud Titan in any like sort of artwork. So try not to overthink it too much when you guys do choose it, when we host a poll on the Discord. You have a good night, guys. And to those not going to bed, I hope you have a great day. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm excited to catch you guys next time. Big props to Ember. They've been doing a fantastic job.